Contextual habitats is our node data plus habitats, which also translates into aggregate data plus graphs plus stats plus alerts. By adding school to your node, your parents may have access to the mobile numbers of the parents of your classmates. By adding club, your parents wouldn't, but you may have access to the mobile numbers of your teammates. Habitats can be created like a cookie cutter and access tailored. By storing health indicators, you can find others like you, but in the aggregate. And by adding activities, you can see, again in the aggregate, the effect of exercise on these indicators. Put in your favorites, and for music, you can put in data from, say, Spotify, and see what people like you are listening to. On a different note, you can store pet details to get quote alerts from insurance habitats. So you interact with habitats and interact with people like you in the aggregate. So without really interacting with habitats, you can fill your node with data and see what people like you are doing. Examples of interacting with habitats is next. Another sporting example is the Ryder Cup 2012. This is an example of a stemmet being created for the singles player stem. You can see looking at the stems that the in-play stem navigates to the match type stem, which navigates to the matches stem. So by clicking in-play here, you get the in-play table displayed, and automatically the match types table is displayed, and the matches table. At this point you get an option of 3 tables, one being singles players. And when this table is selected, you can create a stemmet, selecting these 3 sections from the matches table and the player to display this stemmet, and you can be alerted to any change in the current result. Also, you could at any time navigate to a habitat that contains all Ryder Cups, and here filtering on the players table, visually displayed in a graphical form, learning a technique that could be used in other contexts. Looking at the Academy Awards habitat for 1972, selecting years in 1972, then selecting films, you get the list of films nominated for awards that year. By selecting Huston and selecting Exit Habitat, and selecting the All Film Awards habitat, and selecting the Film Awards stem by clicking here, and then selecting Create Stemmet, and taking the year from the film stem, as it defaults to Huston, you can see all of the awards that Huston has been nominated for during his career. Because contextual habitats is tables only, it can be displayed in any language. In this travel habitat, creating a stemmet on this journey stem, replacing vehicle number with reason for delay and minutes late, alerting you to any delay to your journey. By selecting, say, Spanish, you can do exactly the same. So all children can see delays to their school bus, and this can be easily extended to trains, or say planes which have more than one operator per route, which can actually be done for buses as well. So along with stats and graphs, you can learn another language while waiting for your bus. So turning now to food habitats, filtering meal types on Irish stew, and selecting the recipe ingredients table, you could store your favourite recipes in your node, displayed like this. And let's say you send your favourite recipe to your school. You could store each of these favourite recipes in a school's habitat and get taught stats and graphs in a fun way. And as you can navigate out of this food habitat via the ingredients stem into the ingredients habitat, and navigate out of this habitat via the vitamin stem into a conditions habitat, you can select, say, the vitamins zinc or magnesium and the conditions acne or asthma, And so you can pull in the sections calories, vitamin sections, and percentage RDA and add them to the STEMet to analyse recipes for nutrition. To illustrate this interconnectedness further, this pattern repeats itself in a takeaways habitat here, and a restaurant's habitat here, just like in the school's habitat that you may have come to recognise here. And you can see restaurants are very similar to takeaways, differences being here with bring your own bottle and all sorts of discounting here. Looking at restaurants, you can navigate from corkages to meal ingredients this way. And here, merging two STEMets in the takeaways habitat, you can be alerted to any change in these values, which can be saved and redisplayed at any time. And you can, if you wanted to, add in what you learnt at school. Basically, habitats can fit into each other like Lego. You can add this functionality to a sports club if they cater for food. You can filter out dishes containing nuts, add in a queuing system for restaurants, and apply it to pubs and other events. Regarding events, you could potentially get every available event into one habitat. Select category, subcategory, and see the prices of available tickets. In this habitat, you've got sub-habitats for each type of event. In this case, drama, and if you click habitats. This drama habitat allows you to create an alert on the play history stem, which includes current plays, alerting you of a play written by someone from your hometown being shown in a local theatre. And when the alert comes in, you can easily navigate to find more details. And you might be already familiar with the awards stems that we've seen in the film habitat. The Premier League is another event habitat. The music event habitat will contain a history of CDs, chart positions, etc. The intention is to develop this habitat for schools starting with sports events. Again, this can be done with either speech or the mind. You could subscribe to a theatre, say, and pay to see the recording of a play that you can't attend, or a school event you can't attend. You can filter on your own context without having to go to a website and click on YouTube links. So in your node, you've got the data that you've put in, habitats you visit frequently, and filters on tables from these habitats that you want to be alerted on.